and she got paid more money than the cricketer was getting paid for a game of cricket. So it was like, no, this has got to change. So.
Yeah, there's plenty making the argument that if they decide to go with they've got a Kennett curse as well.
I think there's a lot of questions to be asked of the ARU and how their management's set up and everything else like that. It's become basically a non-event as a sport, as a sporting organisation. They're just nowhere.
Well, you look at the lack of promotion heading into the Bledisloe Cup match. You know, after all this controversy and all this negative press, you would have thought the ARU would have flogged that Bledisloe Cup match that was coming up, and no one knew it was on.
No. Yeah, and I remember we talked about this the other day where we kind of said there was two things. Like, you had your English mates that you used to get riled up about with the Ashes, and your Kiwi mates was the Bledisloe Cup. But now it's just like no one even, like you said, barely anyone mentions the Bledisloe. I get one mate who might flick me a message, but I don't even think he watches it anymore.
Sees the result online, that's about it.
Yeah, that's it, and it's disappointing because it was one of those things that we used to get quite passionate about. You know, we've got to beat our neighbours, the Kiwis, and the same with the Ashes. We've got to beat the Poms. So it's disappointing that it's come to that where we just
the rivalry in the netball's become probably more front and centre, even in a newspaper.
Well, we don't want to talk about that either. They beat us as well.
Yeah. Move on.
All right. Well, we're going to come back with some more local results. We're also going to promote a few teams that are coming up with their training regime and all the rest of it. We're just going to put the promo back out there. So you're on Radio VCA 88.5. If you'd like to check out the Facebook page, there's Radio VCA 88.5 FM, or In the Sheds with Albie, Brucey and Donnie. So you can find both of those on Facebook. Contact numbers 9297 1088. We're going to go for a quick break and we're going to come back with some more results. And we're back, and we're going to go through some local results. But firstly, I think we just need to promote a few of the sports that are about to start their training sessions, and two that have got in touch with us quite a bit and have been great with promoting our Facebook page and letting the locals know about us. Firstly is to the Swan Valley Cricket Club. They've been fantastic, and they'll start training Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Swan Valley Oval, which is on Great Northern Highway. So a big shout out to them, and thank you for the support, guys. You've been fantastic.
Can't thank Noel Matcham enough. He's been tremendous.
He's all over
he's listening in.
Yeah, he's all over it.
Yeah, so he sort of shared us all over all the. You know, he's managing about 5 or 6 different pages, so he wears a few different hats, but. He's been really proactive in actually getting in contact with us, so I'm sure we'll hear plenty from the Swan Valley Sporting Club throughout their season.
Yeah, and I will go into a few of their the results that they had for last season, how they went, just to give everyone a bit of an idea of what to expect this year from the Swan Valley Cricket Club. And I think we might have one of their members come talk to us either next week or the week after, just to have a chat about how they're doing. But we'll also mention the Ellenbrook Rangers, which is the Ellenbrook Cricket Club, and they'll be starting their training every Tuesday and Thursday as well. It'd be good to get down, even if you're just wanting to, have a hit and have a drink and make some friends. Both these clubs are wonderful people, and they're very welcoming, they're very inviting. Even if you just want to go down there just for the social aspect of it, you will have an absolute ball. And that's honestly I've had a part of Ellenbrook Eels, I've had a part of the Swan Valley Club as well, and I can't talk up enough how great these clubs are as far as making you feel welcome and just making you feel like you're part of the team straight away and just having a good time. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what this local sport is about. It's about having fun and just meeting new people and making friends. And it's so the Ellenbrook Rangers and the Swan Valley Cricket Club, thanks guys for your support. You've been fantastic. So with the cricket, for the Swan Valley, they had a mixed season, so they play on the suburban turf comp. They've had a couple of sides did really well, and still doing well. The first grade side, it was led by former Western Warriors squad member Phil Adams, and they had a pretty successful year. They narrowly missed out on the main 2-day finals, and the side was successful in taking out the 1-day premiership for the season. So, look, they obviously had the different sides had a good year, but collectively as a club, they've had a good year. They've got a good history, and if you're looking to go out, you're out that way, and you want to go make some new mates and have a few drinks, I definitely recommend it. And the same for the Ellenbrook Rangers. They're moved to the new stadium, the new oval. I'll call it a stadium. got a bit ahead of myself there.
Talking about the Cray Pot here.
Yeah, so they've moved to the new oval as well. And look, the Rangers,
Rangers are basically, they've got access to 4 ovals out there, haven't they? So I think I've driven past there before. There's juniors on there, so it's not just a senior club. So I think they start from
Yeah, and look, it is good, with footy winding up, the rugby winding up, the soccer winding up. Cricket's that kind of great fill-in sport for the season. Obviously, a lot of people do take their cricket very seriously, but it is a blessing that it's in a different season to everything else. It's kind of doesn't matter what sport you follow, whether it's the footy, the rugby, or the soccer. Everyone seems to love their cricket. So it's just like it is great that it is in a separate season to everything else. I will just do one quick mention that's been sent through to us. So, in relation to the footy, the Eastern Hills Cats is the Masters team for Ellenbrook, and they've won Best Metro Club for Masters this year. So that's a fantastic effort. So
Masters, what sport's that?
That's the AFL, yeah.
AFL Masters.
So and we mentioned before the Ellenbrook Eels had their Masters, which has been playing fantastic football as well. So just a quick shout out to them guys. They've just sent one through for a quick request, just to say thanks. So we've got some other local results.
Yeah, so we'll move a little bit further afield. We've sort of been focused so far on Ellenbrook and the surrounds. So we'll move into the more sort of Perth, WA-wide results, and we'll start with a grand final that was held over the weekend in the State Basketball League. A massive performance from the Perth Redbacks. It was a top 4 system in the State Basketball League. The Perth Redbacks came from 4th place to win the premiership. Their semi-finals. I don't know if there's anybody out there that follows the State Basketball League that might be able to hit us up on at the Sheds 885 on Twitter, and let us know the answer to this question. But they play a 3-match series in the semi-finals, but then the grand final is a single game, which doesn't seem to line up. You'd like to see a 3-match series to decide the grand final as well. But the Redbacks beat who they play in the first. The Willetton Tigers. They played in the first week of the finals, and they smashed them. They knocked them off the park, 4th against 1st, and they beat them 2 games to nothing. They won both games relatively convincingly, and so it was a really good performance from them. And then they went through to the grand final, took on the Joondalup Wolves, and again in the grand final it was pretty convincing in the end, 103-70 in favour of the Perth Redbacks. It's
for a basketball scoreline. That's
I suppose similar scorelines in basketball to what you see in AFL. So 103-70. It's
it's like 7-1.
That's a 5-goal. That's a
7 goals
win.
won in soccer. No, that's a great effort, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing a lot of the young guys around this area that every basketball rink around here has pretty much been taken up. I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future there is going to be an established Ellenbrook or surrounds basketball team, which would be interesting.
It is one of the things that are talking with the other parents is that the local league that we've got here is basically not here. We don't have anywhere where we can have a comp that runs. You've either got to go to Morley, you've got to go to Midland or Altone. So,
Yeah, it's one of the things I found too in the research for the show is that we don't have a basketball team. So, again, if there's anyone out there that's listening...
We don't have the facility. I know that the
They're looking to build one, aren't they? In
an indoor sports facility. Okay. Oh, that's. I know they've got the just down the road there at Woodlake there, in at the Salvation Army building. They've actually got basketball courts inside there, but I don't think anyone's ever actually looked at setting up a comp for it. But naturally enough, it'd have to be run through the City of Swan, so the facility, that is. Yeah,
it will be exciting future, I think, for basketball in this area, because there's a lot of, it doesn't matter where you go, there's and by kids I mean teenagers, and these guys are. I'll take the kids for a walk, and we end up stopping and watching these teenagers play basketball, and it's like, it's good entertainment. They are cracking players, and
their skills.
Yeah, that's it. So it'd be a good future, I think, for basketball. And
a bit of a drought for the Redbacks too. So they broke a bit of a drought. It's the first time they've been in a grand final since 1999. So that's a fair drought, and the first time they've won it since 1997. So. Lee Roberts might be a name to keep an eye out for. He was fantastic in the grand final. You might see him pull on a Wildcats jersey before too long, and we know that's not too far away from kicking off. Just to quickly run you through his stats: 28 points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists and 3 steals. And the fact that he was able to outshine a guy like Sean Redditch, which is a name that a lot of Wildcat fans will know. Redditch was the power forward. Lee Roberts was playing in the centre position. 6'7", American. Played in about 18 different countries throughout his career, but he's a very, very good player. And
so he basically did it at both ends.
Yeah,
which is fantastic. So, right. So we move on to the Perth Thunder, and how they go.
The Perth Thunder. They just to let you know who is the Perth Thunder. They are the Perth ice hockey team, of all things. It's funny when you start researching for a general sports show the number of different teams you didn't know existed. I did not know that Perth had an ice hockey team, but the Perth Thunder, get behind them. They finished off their season on the weekend. Unfortunately, it didn't go all that well. They went over to Melbourne, played against the Canberra Brave. In the semi-final. They ended up going down 6-2, but it was a lot more competitive than that. There was a few penalties in the final third that really cost us. It was 2-2 early. We scored a goal to make it 2-2 early in that final period, and you started thinking we could do it. But the Canberra Brave ended up winning the game 6-2, and then the minor premiers, Melbourne, ended up winning the whole thing, so they won the grand final in the AIHL, I believe the tournament is called. I think you can watch it on Foxtel, so it's got a fair bit of coverage. It's got a fairly reasonable following. I suppose there's a lot of American sports nuts that live in our country. So
whereabouts do they play out of? Is it the Malaga? Malaga,
yeah, Malaga,
the Malaga one.
Okay. Yeah, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. No, that's where I thought it was. I'm pretty certain I've heard that they play out of there. But
they went into the finals with really good form too. They I can't remember who they played in the last round of the regular season, but their last game before finals they won at 12-1. And if you know anything about ice hockey, that's a fair hiding.
That's an absolute smashing. That's fantastic.
So, they went in with plenty of form, but unfortunately they weren't able to get it done in the semi-finals. Didn't get the opportunity to play in the grand final, and they both played on the same weekend over in Melbourne.
But with that sport, where do they sit in their timeline with the Stanley Cup in America? Because I think you'd be able to sort of recruit / from what I've heard on another radio
players
station,
in their off-season. Yeah.
They get guys down from out of college. They're basically their off-season, so they play college / whatever their league is over there, and then come down here and play in our league. So the only reason I'm mentioning is it's not just not a token sport. It's the quality, the standard of the sport is actually it's getting these guys down here. So
certainly no Mickey Mouse tournament. No. And if there's anyone out there from the Perth Thunder that can maybe get in touch with us, give us a little bit more information if you've got it, and
drop us a line.
Happy to plug it.